Welcome back to another video, Harmony Peace. We are now in May. Can't believe how this year has gone so quick. Well, I remember it was Christmas. Now we are in May. I want to talk about, guys, to express your feelings and your emotions and to speak up for yourselves generally overall. We come to terms in our lives where we don't talk about our feelings. We shut down when things get hard. Where I think sometimes it's important, not even sometimes, all the time, to express how you're feeling, how you think on a day-to-day basis. So I know when we were younger, we look at the world through our own eyes and not through our brain. So you've got to understand the sensory in your eyes. So when we're younger, we've been taught to see, smell, and see what we need to see. And then after, I know our brain gets processed, and our mum and dad teach us things on a day-to-day basis, eat, walk, tie laces, and which sometimes we get older, it gets filtered because of their beliefs and their values. And because when you see the lens through your eyes, but you see it through family, how they explain to you how to express and how to look at things in a different light, where when you get older into an adult and you try to explain things or things that you want to express, you've not been shown that way, or you have, but maybe it wasn't the right way and what was healthy, and which was to know how to articulate yourself in a right manner, in the right way, because your brain's been filtered to the point of the words what's been said when you was younger, and that's been internalized subconsciously through your brain and your neurons, and which happens, it goes into a constant repeat, how your brain's rewired. And then it's no different, like, say for example, you've been told to brush your teeth, you need to brush your teeth, but then they'd explain to you why you have to brush your teeth. But then when you've been told you can't go out a certain time because of this, but as you get old, you start to question, am I allowed to do this? And this is where self-doubt kicks in, self-belief, where you've not been praised, or you've not been looked at, or you've not had the chance to say what you want to say, because you've been shrinked so much when you was younger to the point you don't know what things you want to say to yourself, knowing how you want to express yourself to other people. And then over due time, you start to not be your authentic self. You're being something completely different, where it doesn't sit with you, it doesn't align with you, which I think it's important to express the feelings and the things what you want to say to yourself, which I feel is dead important. So for me, it's about putting something new instead of what you've been taught. So if, for example, if you've been said, someone says to you, you're not enough or you're not good enough, you can put and tell yourself, I'm enough, I'm good, and I learn every day for the things that I've learned and not understood, but I'll learn the next day and the day after. So that's yourself teaching your brain to understand that it's okay not to learn it straight away. And even though if you made a mistake, doesn't mean that you doesn't mean you can't do it, and it doesn't mean it can't be done. Each of the fact is you're learning, and it's a process that you're learning to know that I'll try again the next day, and I'll try again, and you praise yourself, because at least that way you can praise yourself. And if you're feeling like low or down, because what I've said this to someone the other day, is that, when you cry and you get upset, when you're younger, you've been told to go upstairs to your bedroom, you start crying, and then you've been told to stop crying, but you've not had the chance to express how you feel, because we've been taught, I know when I was younger, that it's okay, keep crying, but it's not right. But I've been said again, stop your crying, what are you crying for? And I think, crying must be okay. And I kept saying in my head, cry, but then I had no chance to express how I feel. All I've been told is go to my room, stop crying, and then that was it. But as you get older, that again forms to the point where maybe you had the chance when you're younger to express your feeling depending on the circumstances in your family environment. You had the chance to feel and understand why you're feeling that way, but also it's knowing how to express, knowing that it's not good to close up and not talk about these things. It's not good to not to check in with yourself. I'll always check in with myself, and I always ring someone who knows me in and out to check in with myself, to be very aware of how am I feeling today, what's come up for me today to feel this way. And also, if you want, you can write it down. Writing it down is very important, because at least that way you get a track record to know where you are, know what you're doing, to have an understanding where things have gone wrong, but doesn't mean that you're wrong. Because I think sometimes we are very too critical about ourselves, where we say there's something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just that we've been programmed in a certain way to believe what's been taught to us. I'm not saying not to believe some of the things, but you are your own person. You can believe in anything what you want to achieve, but just knowing that, to come out that fear factor, knowing that you can come out that part of yourself, knowing you can achieve anything you want. And it's important to actually express, talk about the things what's struggling with, talk about the things where you might feel comfortable. You might feel a certain way because you might think they might look at you a different way because you've expressed what you want to say, but that's not the case. The fact is you can say these things in a safe space with the people that you know that cares about you and understand you as well. Another thing I feel what's important is putting things that you're grateful for, and even putting things that you challenged for the day, because I think sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit to the things that we don't challenge ourselves, or things that you want to speak up. Because what happens is when you don't speak up for yourself, or you don't speak up the things that you want to say 6-7 months down the line, that same thing's been bugging you and you've not said what you want to say, that could come out in the wrong way. So in the moment, pause, breathe in, breathe out, take a moment. Does it serve me to say this now, or do I need to take a moment and go back and then try again the next day? Because in that moment you might say something that maybe wasn't the right time to say. In that moment you might say, well, I'll wait till tomorrow. So sometimes you have to really listen to your body, listen to what your body's telling you, to understand these things as well, which is very important. Because I feel that sometimes in life where you have to say these things and you have to know where I need to catch yourself, understand yourself, and to be the best version you can be, and give yourself praise when you've done one thing for one day, then you know the next day you think, you know what, I can try again the next day, and reassess everything, because it's being self-aware. Because also you can journal how you're feeling, how does it sit with you, and you know then, because whatever happened from the day before, you can think, okay, well, this didn't work for me, I can look at it this way, or this didn't work for me, but I can look at it that way. So these things are very important, to hold the space, to know what's going on in your life, to know how you're feeling. And if you need extra help with that as well, which will benefit you, don't be scared to speak up and express. It's better to express how you're feeling and be honest to yourself. You might feel a bit like in your heart, but go with it. Stand firm to what you're saying when you're talking, because even when you're in conversation with people, just stand firm, be polite, and keep talking and be honest and true, because that stands for itself, where that person can see where you're coming from. Because I think sometimes we don't talk, and even guys talk to each other. I've done it before. Well, I've checked in, spoke to my friend, and I had deep conversations where we need to have these as well, because they might see something in you, you might not see in that moment to have that conversation and give you that advice. It's better to do that and then you don't say nothing and nothing never changes. Order to change is about repetition. Order to change is about rewiring, putting new words in the brain and receptors to see things completely different. Because the way I see things now is completely different from what I did before. I'll hold space, but also be honest with myself. Where I know when I was younger, I struggled to talk up, I'd clam up, bottle things up, because my dad was never around. But at the same time, as I got older, over due time, that started to change and I looked at things differently. Well, when I see things now, me as an adult, and I look at to understand how things are, talking to friends, reading books, podcasts, and making things happen, action. There's two things I have to say. There's action and there is being productive and being proactive. And you've got to do these things to the point where it helps you to grow as a person, because you can sit in this position and nothing will never change. The way you respond to people, and I always believe, take your time when you're doing these things, and also take your time in these moments where it's a working process. It takes time. I believe, as a thing I always say, when you put a seed into the ground, it takes time to grow. It takes time to blossom, and you have to be patient and take your time, meaning in order to grow and learn, you have to be patient with yourself, and also checking with the people that care about you, and also knowing that when you express how you feel, you can be your authentic self. Be the person you when you was when you was younger, because you haven't changed. All of the ages, you're an adult and you've got responsibilities. That could be work, could be kids, could be anything like that. But also remember where you come from, where it makes you feel happy in yourself. Because we've always got that big kid inside of us. It's just that sometimes we neglect that. We have to come back within and also talk to yourself, like your inner child, the person. And even if it's got to be with a friend, and reflect back on your memories when you was younger. There's all good memories when you was younger, like when we played in the playground, had a laugh. Because, you know, when you're younger, we have a laugh. Why can't we have a laugh for adults? Nothing's changed. It's just that we forgot to keep doing that because life. But it's having a balance. So always try to have a plan, have a structure, have a routine, having to do these things, which I think is very, very important in itself, because I believe that things can change, things can completely look differently. You might not see it straight away, but give yourself good 6 or 7 months being consistent. Don't burn yourself out, have balance, don't overextend yourself, reserve, but also be there, be present, which is, I think is an amazing thing to do, because I know when I was younger, all these things was always clammed up, couldn't talk, couldn't speak, couldn't say this, couldn't say that. But as time go on, over time, months, weeks, years, it starts to change the way you see things. Just remember that. And thank you again to listen to another video on Harmony Peace. I'll see you again soon. Bye.